Which brings me back to you, Mark. And of course, on Wednesday, we were talking about Real ID in the United States. You've got some more on that.
Well, it might be the official announcement here, Mike. That's the most important thing. What we're showing here is the Transportation Security Administration. Of course, it's one of the major agencies created in the wake of 9/11. The DHS itself was another one. And most of those other entities are under that. And of course, we had the Patriot Act back then and a number of unpleasant memories in the wake of 9/11. And we thought that this dragon had been slain. I remember working on it in 06, 07 and writing about it. But I'll cite this TSA announcement because this is the most important part of my presentation today. Starting the 7th of May, it's right around the corner, a state-issued driver's license or ID that's not Real ID compliant in the U.S. will no longer be accepted as valid ID at airports and certain federal buildings. Passengers traveling after this enforcement deadline should either travel with an acceptable ID like a passport or enroll for a state-issued Real ID. Passengers that lack these things or some other acceptable form can expect delays, additional harassment, screening, possibly not being allowed into security checkpoints. And this even includes, get this, the pre-check passengers of TSA, people that fly frequently, whose backgrounds are well known. And they're usually given the express entry to get on the plane so they don't have to wait as much. Even they're going to be bogged down if they don't have the right papers in order, and so on and so forth. So if your identity can't be confirmed, you can't enter the checkpoint, and you may be subject to even more screening. So this is something that we thought was going to die on the vine, and it didn't. But anyway, Chuck Baldwin, the noted Christian pastor, activist, and columnist, he's notorious for keeping a close eye on these things. He said this: the real reason Real ID hadn't gone into effect after the GOP Congress moronically passed this super surveillance atrocity until now is because conservatives and libertarians rose up en masse in opposition to it, forcing George W. Bush to back down. And since then, neither Obama nor Biden wanted to awaken the American people, the sleeping giant, on this issue. And Chuck Baldwin, a constitutional Christian conservative, is quite critical of Donald Trump in many areas, and especially in this area. Even Fox News, according to Baldwin, is got kind of a furrowed brow on this, thinking that the Donald wouldn't let this through. Fox News noted conservatives are speaking out against the Trump administration's plans to finally enact the long-shelved Real ID laws in a, quote, to crack down on illegal immigration. This is one of the reported reasons for this. There's also been talk that maybe this has something to do with identity at the voting polls, neither of which are really relevant. It's not altogether clear why they're letting this become law. But Thomas Massey, the retrograde backbencher in Congress, he makes a number of important counter arguments in Congress. He said this: if you think Real ID is about election integrity, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Someone has lied to you and you're engaged in wishful thinking. Please don't shoot the messenger. And Sarah Palin, too, long thought to be a Trump supporter, is scratching her head, saying evidently existing ID requirements for American citizens just aren't adequate now. So Big Brother's forcing us through more hoops for the right to travel within our own country. And Palin continued, other administrations delayed this newfangled, burdensome Real ID requirement. Are you curious why its implementation is so imperative now? And this stems from 9/11, which I'll be talking about later today, I presume. But at any rate, it's a troubling development after 20 plus years to see this thing not only survive, but is apparently going to be passed. So back to you guys.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks. We'll talk about that in extra, no doubt. We'll be talking quite a number of things in extra today.